Hello everyone. It is Joe from Maverick, right? Here we are, ThinkorSwim time. Let's get into some basic settings and studies. You'd be surprised on how often people just want the basics down. And if you're like me, I hate spending a lot of time looking for something that's super simple that I should know where it is. Once I do it a handful of times, I pretty much got it down, but it's getting it that first time that can be a pain in the butt. So we like to throw videos together like this for the community based on some of the questions we get with coaching and some of the requests from the members. So let's get into some of these. The difference between settings and studies overall and where to locate them. Now this is going to be specific to ThinkorSwim. I really like ThinkorSwim. I don't work for them at all. I'm not an expert at all. I do have my own account with them. But I found if there's a way that I can find something to make it easier for you, I'll bring it to us, right? That's how it works. Settings is going to be general across the board when it comes to all platforms. Settings is basically the size of the candlestick, the color of the candlestick, the way that you want to see the time versus the price, so on and so forth. It's literally the settings of the chart, similar to your browser settings, similar to your computer settings, stuff like that. Now studies, strategies, indicators, all of that stuff is going to be stuff that you put on top of the chart. That's the question I get quite a bit. In fact, folks, if I had a nickel for every time I had that question in the last couple of weeks, I'd have about 45 cents. We're going to do a quick run through of each along with how to build a custom set. Custom sets are really cool. This is something that personally for me is new. I'm pretty static when it comes to taking a look at what I do, and everybody gets their trading plan and their own routine down. So very rarely do we break out of that. What I found is it's almost out of laziness personally for me. So when I look at a 5-minute chart, there's a lot of stuff that I don't need to see when I'm looking at a monthly chart or a weekly chart or a daily chart, so on and so forth. So it's nice to be able to build those indicators, and with one click, I can put them all on and then click them off and put something else on. I'll show you where that is. And then helpful tips specific to options trading, because that's what we are at Maverick. We're an options firm, right? So I've got a couple of things that might make things a little easier when it comes to, hey, is this stock optionable or not? So without further ado, guys, let's just jump straight into the software. I've got a spider's chart up here. The two things we're going to be looking at specifically is this little beaker. This is your studies, right? Studies, strategies, indicators, same idea. And this is going to be your chart settings. Now, the reason why I'm spending time on the chart settings is because you can actually manipulate this to do some pretty cool things for you on the fly. You can also get this over here if you guys are drop-down people. I'm not a drop-down person. I'm more of a window guy. I like to, click it once, put something in, click again. When you drop it down, you can drag over here, and then it gives you all sorts of things. Then you just click and it pulls it up. If you're a drop-down guy, that's fine. It's right over there. I am not. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's open up our studies. And you can see they're alphabetically listed versus studies and strategies. Here's our sets, right? We'll go through each. The first of the studies here, let's say I want to look at, like a MACD. You could type it in the search. It's nice. I can click on it, go down here, add select. It moves it over here. What's really neat, you have this up arrow. I can actually put it together with my previous indicator that was here, which is my ATR. You guys can see it down there. I'll hit apply so you can see what that looks like. So now I've got my ATR mixed with my MACD. Don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. However, what I would do is I can move this a little lower, put one below the other, or I can click, hold, drag, and drop, and now it's its own separate window when I hit apply. That's what I really want. You could put one above the other just by clicking and dragging. If you want to change anything, let's say like the colors, it's got its own cogwheel over here. So you can click, okay, fast length, slow length, right? The MACD is a moving average convergence divergence. So it depends on your slow versus your long or your fast line. I'm not here to teach the indicator, just how to manipulate it. Down here, you can switch the color, all sorts of different things there. It's just okay when you like it, so on and so forth. At any time, if you don't want it, there's an X button. Hit X, it deletes it. So there's your strategies and your studies. Let's move over to sets. Now let's say that we've built this nice, group of studies and strategies that we want to keep. I can just save it as a set by hitting this button there. You can see I've saved a few. Let's go ahead and remove all these, and I'll show you what I got. Here is a basic set 2. I built this just for training purposes. It's not one that I really use, but you can hit use set, hit apply, and OK, and now we're there. What's really cool about this, guys, is if we're going to jump to a different time frame, I'll show you how to get time frame set here in a second. It's very nice to do it very quickly. So I am on a 6-month daily. Let's say I jump to a 10-minute or a 10-day 30-minute chart. but I like to look at Bollinger Bands on this. Well, I just go over to my settings here, go to sets. First I like to do is remove the one that's on it previously. This one's got an ADX. I thought I had one that had Bollinger Bands. Maybe I don't. Oh, there it is. Basic 1. So it's highlighted, use set, hit apply, hit OK. Boom. There it is. I got my Bollinger Bands on there. I've got all the stuff that I want to see, and I can move forward from there. So that is going to be our studies and strategies list, and it's pretty simple, pretty easy to use. There is a whole bunch that come standard with ThinkorSwim. However, for you super geeks out there, and I'm not one of those, you can create your own. So you hit create, you can learn how to code it. ThinkorSwim does tell you how to code it. I imagine the manual's pretty thick. I haven't even opened that door, folks, to be honest, but you can. And for some of you that already have spent money and bought an algorithm or some sort of a program, you can actually import it as well off of your computer right at this in area. So kind of neat, right? All right, so I'm going to jump back to a 6-month daily. I'm going to get rid of my sets here and go to a super basic one. I'm going to hit use set, hit apply, and OK. And then we're going to get into chart settings. Now, chart settings is super personal. You can do all sorts of really cool stuff. You got the price access, which is going to be anything vertical, is going to be in this. Then you get your time access, which is anything horizontal. This is where you can set your beginning start or your first look. Meaning, what I mean by that, you can have a tick chart, time, range. The majority of people I work with is usually times. I got a 6-month daily as standard. However, right next to it, favorite time frames. This is cool because you can actually build this as deep as you want. You can see I've got a 1 day, 1 minute, 5 day, 5 minutes, so on and so forth. You can just add a time frame. You can do a tick chart. You can do custom intraday. You build it, and then you hit add. Now, what's cool about this, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, or I should say, I'm going to close this real quick, and I'm going to show you. Once they're added, you can pull these from here, right? It's nice, so you can just jump back and forth real quick to like a 30-minute, a day, 1 minute, so on and so forth. Jump back. Here's my 6-month daily. So once you build them, you can jump back and forth pretty quickly. Now, appearances is going to be what reminds you that it is settings. It's going to be visual, like in my colors of the candlesticks, so on and so forth. You can switch to any different type of bar chart, which is kind of a bar western style. You can do any type. Line chart, I don't know why you would. I'm more of a candle guy. But this is where you would change all of that. That's going to be your appearances. Equities is kind of a fun one. You could deal with options, futures, and Forex if you want to get a little bit deeper into those. Equities is basically where I stop, folks, and I don't want to go too deep in this video. But it is nice to have this. This is called the show options. And what's cool is you can choose 4 strikes, 5 strikes, so on and so forth. I usually choose 4 or 2 because I look for strike prices that are usually at or in the money. And this is going to give you both the calls and puts. And what I like about this, let me just hit apply and OK, is you can see, and it's a little muddled. By the way, guys, if you don't know how to zoom, you put your arrow over here and it goes and it splits. And I can grab and move the chart. And if you want to zoom here, you put down on the timeline, you drag, and it kind of zooms out. This will show you the calls and puts for the next few months. It's pretty neat. So if I hover my mouse over, like say put here, it'll tell me what it is, and it'll give me a theoretical price. Now, this is based on its chain. It's going to be in between the bid and the ask, but it's a quick way to say, hey, this might be something I want to make an options trade on. Or if you're bouncing between charts, you're going to go for the SPY, you're going to go for the MSFT, so on and so forth. It'll pull them up. See, here's Microsoft. Okay, here's some of the options. The first one out here is it's the 270 call, about $3.84. That expires in May 13th. So this is kind of neat. It's one that a lot of traders kind of gloss over, but it's kind of cool when you're going through a whole bunch of charts and you want to find out, do they have dollar expiration, 50-cent expiration, $2.50, $5 expiration. It's kind of neat because you can actually see it visually, especially if you're trying to gain your targets, your entry points, so on and so forth. Oh, it's going to move higher. This is my target. What's the next option? It looks like this call over here. This is a 27th of May 280 call. It's pretty cool. So I found that to be super helpful. Whether you do or not is up to you. So that's under equities. So let's just go ahead and hit apply. I'll take that off. One other thing that I'll make a mention of that is big is at first you have your price access, or is it, excuse me, your time access. Over here you have your expansion area. I have a lot of traders, and this is question 101 when it comes to brand new members at Maverick, is how do I get that nice right edge buffer? And that's it. So I just moved it to 50 bars over, and I've got a nice 50 bar over move here where I can draw lines or do projections, so on and so forth. Second biggest question I get is, if I manipulate the chart just as much as I have here, folks, how do I get it back? Right click, auto zoom, snaps it right back to where you started. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and knock that time axis back down to my 10 bars, which is what I like. All right, folks, just a quick overview of some things that might create a couple shortcuts. Hopefully it's helped you. Whether you use it or don't, it's what it is. Thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.